Hey everyone, how you doing today? Thought I'd show you another update and work on this thing a little bit. This strange Kriel alien attack craft thing. So I've been doing a lot of modifications to it. This is the old version again. This is kind of what I showed last video, where I was at, and I kind of did the weird funky back legs and everything like that. It was brought up in comments that it's the legs are sitting out a little too far. The back legs in relationship to like the front legs and things like that. So let's go to the next iteration here. This one obviously has a few more changes to it, but one of the things was I did literally cut, here let me get the HUD on here, like almost this whole section here, and I brought the legs and the whole structure in another block to the center. So it's just a couple blocks thinner than what it was before. I also went through and it was brought up in comments to maybe experiment with a tail, because I really wanted to get your higher end turrets, mounted in the back portion of the creation for the offensive ability of it. And so I went through and I was thinking like scorpion tails and things like that, but I had to put a lot of turrets up here too. So I ended up with this design here. It's kind of being kind of freaky. Like everything else on the creation, so I don't know. I'm kind of alright with this design. I've tried other designs where I had like beams coming up on either side and trying to hold turrets that way, but it ended up looking like a wing, and then it would kind of make this thing look like it was trying to be like some kind of Formula One car or something like that, a weird funky alien one, but I wasn't really on board with that. So this design does what I wanted it to do. It doesn't require a huge amount of blocks to pull it off. It's probably using probably still a good 100 blocks in there, but not as many, considering it's holding 10 turrets in a prime location that I wanted them to be for the, again, the combat effectiveness of whatever this is going to be here. So there was that. Now it was also brought up that these rear legs, not super great. I did modify their footing quite a bit. I kind of expanded this out, added in a couple little pipey things, and a bunch of other little things on the back. I got rid of the landing pads, obviously, but it was also brought up in comments that some people kind of like the idea of the landing pads. Even though this is more of an attack creation, so you would haul this around probably on another CV and then use it to, for combat operations. And having stuff docked onto here really doesn't make a lot of sense in some cases. So, no hanger and that kind of stuff. So that was, I was thinking about that. Another thing I was looking at is the main structure on the top side. And I was looking at the side profile here. And to me, it kind of looked like it should bulk up more in this area and fade away quicker in this area and go down to a lower spot. It just kind of looked like it was kind of pushed back, like the whole section should go forward a little bit to get the side profile looking a little bit better, not so flat and angled here, a little bit more bulgy in that section. So, and I still didn't modify the back legs much on this one either. So now the version that I'm on, a lot of changes were made again, and this is probably this one's got a lot of revisions going on. I tell you, I'm up to I don't know 10 times revising what was there. So, and I'm still not done. It's one of those kind of builds for sure. So this one here, I did redo this structure up here. I brought the this front section so it's a little bit more bulky here, but I try to have it kind of line up so it kind of looks like it's part of the same piece going below. And then because of this, I was like, well, if I wanted to flatten out this back area, maybe I could introduce another landing pad, but up on the top side over here rather than down on the bottom over there. It's not a very big landing pad. Because of the proximity of the tail, could be a little bit challenging to land on if you're coming from the front or back, but maybe if you came in sideways, it's not so bad. You're not going to fit anything real big here. It's not a giant landing pad or anything like that. It could be made to be a little bit bigger, but I'm trying to keep it with the design of the rest of the creation. So on this one here too, I took a good look at the legs, and I was like, well, let's try this again. Let's try to for now at least, keep the same bottom leg, but let's detach this whole turret thing from the leg and change where the leg mounts to the creation. So that's what was going on here. So you notice that I divided the turret away from the actual leg. I also changed where the legs mount. Now before it was mounting here to the hull, kind of coming across here where the legs are attached to the turret on this beam thing. And I got rid of that. I kind of changed this a little bit so these turrets could, or the turret could kind of mount to this part of the hull, and the legs could mount down over here and be separated like that. So I don't know. It was another experiment to see how it was going to work out. Now by doing all this, so I had to like tuck in this other turret over a space, and it doesn't line up to anything right, and that also screwed up a rear turret I have back over here too, which used to be aligned to that. Now it's just floating here. So I got to do some modifications to fix these areas up, and I figured I'd just do that in this video here. Just kind of show you what I've been going through on these different revisions. So let me get into build mode here, and first thing I want to do is let's just scrap this bottom turret for now, and we're gonna I still want them here, but I'm gonna put them in a new location. So I'm going to just get rid of this whole thing here, and I did turn on symmetry, so I shouldn't screw up anything here. Hopefully not. And then another big thing too is this this whole beam thing here. It's like I kind of want this to not be flush with it, or maybe it has like a little connector piece going to this part above it. And this whole thing looks like it should kind of like tuck in differently. So it's another thing I want to get rid of right now is I'll just blow away literally this whole row here, so I can, and then the turret will be at least temporarily floating, but we're going to remount it to the hull after the hull's been redesigned in that area. And let's get rid of this whole thing here too. So yeah, why this creation's been taking so long is it's been, well, a lot of this just changing and reworking. I probably built most of the hull twice or three times now on a good part of the creation. So it's just been taking longer to pull this off. So not a bad thing. It's just, yeah, just trying to figure out how to make it work right. It's a weird design again. Okay, so we got rid of that. So this totally doesn't line up right to what's going on here, and I want to change the way this is set up, but it also has to, I got to connect this somehow to this part over here. That's going to be a little challenging as well. So let's get rid of another block row here. So we'll just kind of start over on this whole chunk here and try to dial it in somehow and see what it looks like. I did save it right before all this too, just in case it totally doesn't come out right and, you know, hit the drawing boards yet again. There's been a lot of hitting the drawing boards on this one. Kind of self-created though, you know. It's obviously it's not the game's fault. It's just me kind of lacking decision-making stuff on how this actually should work, and trying to also make it alien too. If I was just kind of going for just straight-up function and didn't care about the looks, then it wouldn't be that bad. But trying to make it look pretty at the same time, and have all these requirements for being what I'd like it to be, at least as a combat ship, something that's, you know, maneuverable, upgradable, and capable to do pretty decent combat stuff. That's what I'm looking to do. So I started here. We set up kind of just a simple beam connecting this right now, but then we got this whole floating turret over here. So how is that going to work out? It's thinner there now too, which I don't know, maybe we'll see. Let's just keep on rolling with this and see where it comes out at. So fill in some of this for now. I guess for the time being we'll just flatten that part out. Well, let's at least add a little bit of angly blocks here or something going on here. How about 2 there? And let's modify this one. And all these can go bye-bye let's put in this here. So one thing really neat about voxel building, though, is you can go through a lot of revisions pretty quickly, where it doesn't take a lot of time to try different things out to keep on refining the your creation. A lot quicker than it would be if this was a 3D modeling program to do these kinds of changes. Of course, 3D modeling programs give you a lot more options as well, huge more options. So side effects to either way, but for quickness, voxels can be pretty fast. So I'm trying to bevel this out a little bit on the bottom side here, keep it lining up to that main part there. I just don't know how far I want to go with it, and again, how in the heck am I going to mount this now? If this is such a thinner design up there, which it didn't need to be a big bulky thick design like it was, it just needed to be able to shoot over the front legs and the front turrets on those on these leg areas. That's another thing too. On some of it, like I can't bring this leg in. I can bring it in like one more block, but if I bring it in any more than that, what's going to happen is it's going to start to be obstructed by the front leg area. So I was trying to keep that pushed out further on the body, so this would have a direct line of sight. Same thing. Well, it doesn't really matter with that because they're way up in the air, but I don't like to block thrusters if I can avoid it. And I typically don't block thrusters, or if I do, it's very minute, or something that would look like it would still be plausible. At least that's the goal. So, alright, so here, how should we do this? Let's build up this angle a little bit more here. Just a bit. Like one more chunk off to the side, this there. And then this is going to have to kind of float back a little bit too. So I wonder how we should do this curve here. Let me see what would happen with maybe not that block, but its smaller counterpart here. Like if we started bending this in, would that still allow this to mount at all? Not really. Well, hold on. Let's just let's build out a temporary little frame here on the minimum requirements of mounting it where it is right now. And another thing, could that be brought in another block? If I did, it would kind of butt these two enclosures up next to each other. And maybe these enclosures will change too. Maybe they'll be the same. Like they're both two different designs, but they're both kind of doing the same thing. This one has a turret on top, where that one doesn't. That's really about the only difference in function, at least, between the two right now. But you know, the other one could also have a turret up top. So all right, back to the beam. How would this work out? Let's say we I'm trying to make some of these look like they're like roundest arms, and I wanted them, I'm trying to use these bigger curves because I didn't want it to look too, I don't know, too fragile. You know, I wanted to get some bigger connections to them. Like these things are pretty big and tough kind of things. So we added a circle there, but that doesn't really jive very well with this other stuff here. How about let's try a weird shaped Kriel thing. Let's do like full size circle on the bottom and go half block round on top. Kind of makes a weird looking shape there, which also could work. Just kind of weird. It's alien. It's alien. That's my excuse for a lot of this. It's alien. All right, so we got that in place. Let's build this angle out another row here on this level at least. See what happens. Kind of puts that in. So here I'm thinking I just to make it look a little stronger, I probably ought to add another row of these half circle blocks on top. And then let's try to dial that part into this part. And you know, we don't need to go up any higher than that though. So we can stop our angle here, flatten it out with that kind of block, and it'll still work with that piece, which is all right. So now I'm kind of wondering if this shouldn't change a little bit here. Kind of want this to look like there's something going on here, and I didn't really want that just to be swinging out like 2 blocks. So how do we build this up but have something different going on here? Good question, good question. That's the same thing that was there. I ain't gonna do much different. What if it was angled, it didn't match the last angle and made a new angle and kind of did like a stripe like it did before, or like a little cut in there. And then here we could play with it a little bit, and let's try getting in one of these kinds of blocks. Like that. Okay, so here. Now this angle doesn't really line up. Let's change the shape a bit. I think we can pull that off now with a different set of wedge blocks here. Something like that. And then that would have to change as well. Do that, and then this could all change to that same angle as well. Now kind of a little wider on one side than it is the other side. Then we've got this problem here. This looks really weird. Kind of janky there. Okay, so let's modify it back over here. We have that come out to that size. Now it's going to need to go out to a full block here, I think. Yeah, or we'll clear the other piece. Alright, so now it's kind of getting set up to actually make this look a little bit better. What I mean by that is now we could put in a angle something like this. This is just kind of testing right now, where you got like that angle there, and that could come right down into and meet up with this lower section if this lower section was also flat. Like that. Okay, so now up here, no, I guess I'm okay with that, sort of. I wonder though, I wonder if this maybe should also be these thinner pieces here. Even though it's kind of like that would be kind of, I guess it works, but it looks kind of skinny again. Okay, so let's not do that. Let's get rid of those changes. And let's try to do something different here though, where this mounts up to the actual turret. I kind of wanted to, okay, so that will clear the edges, but I want to keep some form of uniformity going on here between the two sides. I guess it already was like that on the other side. The problem I've got is some of this stuff just does not line up very good at all. Let's get rid of that there as well. And now I think to keep all that uniform, maybe I should return this back to a round piece. Like that, and then you got these three that are all kind of in uniform. You've got that arm thingy there coming in. Oh yeah, this turret also has a thruster in it too. That was a big difference there. So this one's just holding these two pieces, or two launchers. That's holding a thruster, a turret, and 2 launchers. So that's why it's just completely different shaped. All right, so this bottom area here, this looks a little, let's angle this out for now here a little bit. Doesn't have to do a lot though. I'm kind of wondering if I shouldn't just keep it a half block here and try to remove it sort of in a way. Let's reverse this. It comes around like that, and then we could, oh, that's a different angle there. Okay, what about this? And that piece, and then let's go for a deco thing here. There's not many deco parts I use with the Kriel very much. A lot of these look just, I guess, just too human, or I've used them on too many human creations. So usually with Kriel, I'll use these tanky things, and maybe this, and maybe these things. But none of those are really what I'm looking for this. I haven't put in any of these kinds of things. I love this part, but it's Kriel, and it just looks too human-like, you know, like an intake manifold kind of thing. So maybe I'll just try like that there or something. Yeah, why not? All right, so it's a little bit different, a little maybe an improvement. We'll look at it. We'll look at it. Let's see here. Maybe one of those on this side and follow this angle through to a certain point. At least it's centered. At least it's centered on the mount now. Quite a bit different than it was before. Now another qualification too is it does need a turret on the bottom side here. And this is getting kind of weird down on the bottom over here though. I kind of like it filled in like that, but at the same time it's disruptive for what's there already. Let's get rid of that block. And okay, so let's angle this up, but let's use the alt set of angles here. Kind of a little wider, a 22.5 angle. Something like that. Fill that in. Okay, so the part that is troubling now is up here. Get a couple more blocks there, and oh, that's gonna be weird though, isn't it? Yeah, like everything else, it's gonna be weird. Imagine that. Alright, so the position of this is now going to be problematic, I think. So let's just get that out of there. Smooth that off a little bit. So on the inside here, if we want it to be kind of uniform, it probably ought to, that's even going at a different angle than the other side. It's okay. Like, I don't know. How could we do the shaping here? It could go with just a straight up 45. That's not going to really work out very good at the ends either. What if we start angling that in a little bit? Maybe start it back here, like that. Get that in the bottom. Quite work either because of this slope there. Alright, so could put in that. Getting kind of a funky shape. It's meeting the objectives though, for the most part. It's connecting that and connecting to the hull. Full block there. Let's just full block out that whole row for now. And this. Oops. Kind of boring there, but it sort of matches at least that angle. It doesn't sit very well though on this. Oh, that's something I haven't really looked at much, is the underside here on how this is gonna work now too, which is again very, very weird. It's almost so weird it's really screwing me up. It's lacking I don't know, some uniformity or something that I would typically want to have, but you know, at the same time it's Kriel and they're kind of about breaking the rules. Or not rules, but yeah, just, you know, style changes and things like that. Let's try an alt part here. Let's see what happens if we round that into that piece. Looks kind of flimsy yet, though, I gotta say. Maybe if this bar here, maybe starting at this level, went out, and we'd probably have to ditch that for now at least. Kind of like that there, though. Let's see what happens. So let's see, how do we want to angle this? We maybe come into that, and then go across. Oops. Wanted to kind of seal this up, make it look stronger. That's gonna be weird. I say that so much when I'm working on this thing. That's gonna be weird. Most of the time, you know, not vocally say it, but that's only because of the video thing. But yeah, it's just gonna be weird. What's behind here? Nothing. I got this double pipe thing going on here too, which is a little unusual. It's all trying to make this look a little tougher, I guess. So I got one exposed pipe, but these angle pieces don't really connect to anything coming up over here. So got an idea now. Start down another block row, and we'll use the same angle, but just start it there instead of where it is right now. And we'll take that up to here. Maybe at this point though, I could actually get this thing back on there, which kind of, I like this because it lines up to the round blocks very nicely. Now, does that look strong enough? Does it look technical? Does it look like it's some kind of engineered weird suspension kind of thing? Of course, for aliens. That is the question. So this part here is bugging me. This part is still bugging me right here. It's like, I don't want this, I guess I don't want this inside part to be round like that, because I didn't want to make that look so, like, such a long beam. But the only way I can really change that is, God, I don't even know. I don't think there is a solution. Could try this, but this is going to look weird because it's not going to, starting too late to line up to this piece. Unless that piece was just moved back, you know? Is there any reason why it's got to be this forward? Yes, there is kind of a reason for that, but it could change. And it would probably actually look a little more sturdy if it did change. Maybe. Oh boy, this is just, yeah, alright. So let's see what happens here. So what I'm going to do is, oh man. You know, I would like to keep this a half block, and maybe it can be done if I change it a little bit here and go with like that. A couple of those, get rid of this, put in that. So it just kind of angles out just a little bit quicker. And then that could be, man. start over right there again. Okay, let's try a different round piece. How about a quarter round? And then one of these on the bottom, kind of an oblong pattern there. And then I wanted this to look, God, guess I could just have another piece like that. Now it doesn't look quite as extensive, I guess. Sorry if I buzz around with the camera pretty quickly too. It's I'm just kind of building how I normally would be building, just trying to talk while I'm doing it. This time at least. Okay, so let's do something here. How about we do that, and then one of these there to make it look like a little like bracket or something. It's not going to line up to this other part here, and but this other part, you know what? This could kind of angle out, make it look like a bigger support. Even maybe go into a couple thin blocks there on the outer edge. So this angle right here though bugs me. It's like it's kind of doing that divider right in the middle where I kind of don't want it to, and it makes that extra thin looking. So let's try this with the one of these instead. Oh, that doesn't line up to the rest of the blocks here. I get it. But what if it did? Oh, that's wrong. Yeah, so we got two different angles here, and if we put in that here, then it would have to be out like that. Maybe that'll work. Maybe that'll work. Let's try it. So get rid of some of these blocks here. We'll go with a kind of a mixed angle approach yet again. And oh, this is where I'm gonna have a breakdown here. Maybe literally. No, I'm kidding. No, I mean a block breakdown. Like there's not a block solution for that particular part. There, what I was trying to do there. But we can flatten this out pretty easily, like that. What a weird design. Well, anyway, I guess the main purpose of this video here is just to try to. I don't do this too often. I'm just trying to show you what's kind of what I'm fiddling with in the background when I'm saying I'm working on things and modifying things and trying things. This was just another try at trying to figure out some way to make this work out. And it's one of these weird. It's just a kind of a really weird creation to be working with and trying to figure out how this is all gonna fit in the end. Let me guess. There's not a. Yeah, there wouldn't be one of these that goes into the other thing, so that wouldn't work either. Trying to figure out what to do on this back part. Well, what if it wasn't round? Kind of want to make some kind of like plate or something going on here. But what could we make that out of that would work? Could try to keep it pretty thin. Maybe a couple like roundy pieces there, and then maybe on the bottom side we'll try this. Almost. And this part kind of swings down because it kind of has to for this this mounting piece over on the other side. So another thing that was added in here, to change the subject real quick, it does have a little entry door now, right in this general section, which is not exactly right at the first-person bridge, but it's not too far away. The problem I had, I was going to put it closer, but I only wanted a like a single block wide one of these fancier ramps in there, and there's no options for having one that comes down further, being a single wide. I didn't realize that before. For some reason, I always thought there was. Like if we take a look at these ramps, oops, go through our options here. With the only two that are like a single block wide, they only come down one block, even this bigger one here, which sucks. You got to go to a 3-block wide if you want it to come down 2 blocks, and I didn't want to do that on the creation, so I had to like put this down further than I wanted to. So I actually pushed it back so it would line up to the other part of the ship there instead. It works. I just kind of wish there was, and I guess I don't know why there's not a single block wide one that can't go down more than 1 block. It's kind of like that part was just omitted from the list of parts there. I got other problems all over the place here too that I haven't really worked out since I did so much copying and pasting around. Like some of these angles I just don't think are working here. Whoops. That probably should go away as well. Oh, this doesn't work on the back side either. Yeah, there's so much pasting and copying and moving stuff around in so many areas. A lot of this stuff just kind of fell apart after a bit here. It's now down to 3 of these things. It used to have 6, so that was quite a bit of difference there. Well, I guess I'll stop right there. But anyway, so here's the newest version now. Another slight revision. Not a tremendous revision or anything like that, but it's still funky. I still like this part here just bugs me. There's the problem with it is, of course, I'm trying to make it look kind of alien. I kind of want it to sort of fit into the front pieces, which I do like. I keep on. I have been, on the fence of just wiping out this whole unit here and trying to, some other shape. But, I'm not sure what shape though. Again, I can't really do what I did on the front because of all the thrusters and things that has to go in the rear part of it to make this this whole thing work here. Also, I thought I would just one last thing here. Let's just show you where it sits at spec-wise right now. Not bad. Actually, it's a pretty quick creation. It's again mostly made out of entirely made out of carbon substrate, but there are some Xeno in here as well. So there is, but it's got a lot of extra speed right now, which is good because once I build out the interior, reinforce a lot of this stuff, especially along the front side of the creation with Xeno blocks, the weight's going to get heavier, but it's got a lot of leeway right now, except for the roll again is not the super stat there, but it's all right. It's pretty close to the pitch and yaw. But you got really good strafe, and you got a lot of lift power, got a lot of forward power. Now, if it doesn't have a huge amount of cargo capacity in it, it probably doesn't need so much lift on here, and where maybe I could get rid of something. But the way the lift thrust is set up on here too, that's not very easy to do because I got a single big lift thruster over here. Then I've got 2 smaller ones up here, or 2 larges. Maybe if those larges were changed into a couple of the medium thrusters instead, that'd probably free up some amount of CPU. I just don't know exactly how much there. But anyway, this is where it's at. Yeah, I think, honestly, if I reinforce this good, I added in a good secure bridge back in the ship, give it places for a lot of shield parts, as many as I can fit in there, quite frankly, along with the warp drive and stuff like that. I think it would work pretty good as a combat creation. As in the turret count on here, it is running currently 40. Now I stripped 2 off the back of it that were just covering the back of it. It'll probably have about 44 turrets total because I'll put those 2 back on in the back area that I totally forgot to do, and probably add a couple more on the bottom side somewhere, just for general drone protection. But all the turrets that are currently on here, all 40 of them, all have a front-facing angle. All can fire in front of the ship, which I definitely wanted. So that was kind of my target goal, to have like 40 or right around that number, real, combat-oriented turrets that could all fire forward. And then currently has the 4 laser cannons and 8 artillery launchers as well to back that up, or just launcher positions in general. I guess you could mix and match those however you wanted them, maybe even with different types. But just the main thing is just getting all these turret locations in, making sure none are blocking another throughout the whole design here, so everything can keep on firing forward for the most part, or up at this angle they would mostly do really good too. There's a couple of these side ones that probably wouldn't perform super well in that way, but having this back here I thought was kind of nice. Again, I didn't really want to put something like that there, but if I did, man, that is like 10 primo turrets in a great location for combat offense stuff that you'd really want to have. You'd put all your good turrets back there, and keep a lot of these front ones here just full of junky turrets that are cheaper, and the AI can have a heyday shooting at them for a while, and you could be just devastating it with all the stuff in the back. Now the laser cannons are kind of forward though, so I did mean to have these further back in the creation too. And maybe that could be done if I modified like this area, but I don't know anywhere else where I could really fit them. It's already a stretch trying to get these things in here. As you can tell, I'm going through a lot of things just so I can get these turrets in the right position, kind of not floating in the air. But yeah, all right, I will shut up, and this is this is where it's at again. I do think a lot on these projects here, and I'm just trying to make this thing work. It's a funky design. Am I super on board with this one? I don't know. Maybe after it's skinned and textured and in the right setting, maybe it'll look neat. It looks kind of interesting for sure, but it's just, I don't know. It's different. So maybe it's not my favorite design. There are elements that I think are really neat. I love this view here. I like seeing like how these front arms come down, and then you can kind of see a bit of the bridge and this kind of scaly block looking setup right next to it. I thought that was pretty cool and feels pretty Kriel to me. Some other aspects of it though, like the tail back there, I don't know if I really like it. It's just the function in this case. It was more important, and if I didn't have this here, that would be a huge loss for its combat potential, and that I didn't want to like strip it away just for the look's sake. And I don't mind the way the tail looks either. I thought this weird block shape, although it's just like a single block row deep here, was kind of funky enough, kind of like a bit like a scorpion tail or something like that. Okay, now I'll finally shut up, and you guys all have yourself a great day. I'll talk to you later.